Look alive, ladies and gentlemen. It is episode 246, impromptu episode. We interrupt your locally scheduled broadcast of every stupid sports show giving their opinion on the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, whatever happened. Somebody got fouled. Who cares? We interrupt that programming to bring you actual sports talk about playoffs that are about to take place tomorrow, which are the NHL playoffs. I have had absolutely enough of my Twitter feed. I don't know if everybody else has felt the same way of Ryan Clark yelling at RG3, RG3 yelling at Ryan Clark, somebody capturing both of those tweets and yelling at them. Emmanuel Acho is trying to get it. Who cares? They're all trying to get themselves in this action about who can grandstand about whatever. But on this show, we're not going to talk about it because I don't care. I'm not going to get into that, my opinions on that nonsense. Actually, I couldn't give an opinion because I don't know what happened. You know why? Because I love hockey and I love the PGA Championship, and I was watching golf and hockey. Shout out to the Canes for reaching out to Andrew Novak, our guy. Shout out to the Canes. Anywho, we have got a great show tonight. Impromptu show on a Monday. Typically, we don't do this. Usually the off day because we're going hard in the paint. But we're going to talk hockey playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. This is I love hockey. I love watching hockey. I played hockey growing up. B. McCormick is here. He's fired up, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to the podcast, we appreciate you. Hit a little 5-star, leave a review, hit a thumbs up while you're here, all that stuff. But we don't do this to try to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. We do it because we love to get on here and talk sports. But anyways, we're going to talk. We got the Eastern Conference Finals, the Western Conference Finals. Hockey's winding down. There's no hockey tonight. This is weird. It's the first time in who knows how long there hasn't been hockey on. But we've got ourselves a rematch in the Western Conference and then a rematch in the Eastern Conference, not of last year, but of somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Dude, there's no sports on. So we have an obligation as a sports show to get on here and talk about sports. So, but yeah, so we're going to go through all the little ins and outs, our version of the hockey playoffs, and see if we can't just come up with some conclusions here. Now, if we're looking at the head coaches, Peter DeBoer, Chuck Knobloch, Rod Brindamore, Paul Maurice, I have to give the edge to the Eastern Conference coaches. I think if you were to say, hey, we've got a tag team match between Eastern Conference Finals coaches versus Western Conference Finals coaches, I'm going with the Eastern Conference all day. That's just my opinion. But yes, so we've got, so Paul Maurice, known soundbite guy, Rod Brindamore, known scrapper. No sports erroneous. Just had it all. You know what? You would. That's home cooking, dude. Mario Kart, playing Mario. My son was playing Minecraft today. That game, I'm completely lost on Minecraft. But if you're gonna tell me Paul Maurice, Rod Brindamore versus Chris Knobloch, Peter DeBoer, you know where I'm going. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. Eastern Conference all the way. Also, we've got epic mouth guards still left. We've got Connor McDavid, known mouth guard chewer. We've got Matt Tkachuk, known mouth guard chewer. So little bit of just behind the battle here. So we're looking at how the teams got here. We had Dallas who beat Winnipeg. Winnipeg the Canadian teams just kind of flamed out. So, you hate to see it. Most Canadian teams in the playoffs in a long time, ladies and gentlemen. And Edmonton is the only one that could make it through as Winnipeg kind of flamed out and their shenanigans that they got going on. Shout out Mark Scheifele. And we had Vegas lose to the Oilers as old Skinner got it going on there. And then, the the Toronto Maple Leafs, dude, you gotta be. I don't know if you're supposed to be sad for the Toronto Maple Leafs or just you just laugh at them. I don't know. Their fans are throwing junk on the ice. They've got the core four that are getting paid a gazillion dollars that can't seem to come up big when it matters. Especially in elimination games where Paul Maurice is 5-0 in elimination games. Brad Marchand is Mr. Game 7. He's got like 5 or 6 game wins, or Game 7 wins as playing for the Bruins and now for the Panthers. He's eliminated the Leafs like 5 times. Like Brad Marchand is Mr. Game 7. So, and then the Canes just kind of demolished the Capitals. That wasn't really. So we end up with, teams that are built to be here. The Stars, for whatever reason, can't get over the hump, but they every year they've got Ottinger, they've got depth, and we'll go through some of this stuff here in the stats. But every year they the only team in Dallas that seems to be able to do diddly poo, somehow Jerry Jones is going to screw this up somehow. The Dallas Stars just depth, and then they bring over Mikko Rantanen, who's leading the NHL playoffs in points. And then the Oilers, of course, who've got 2 just absolute stallions. And they've got a lot of good pieces, too. I mean, they've got obviously Bouchard on the back end, but, their goalie controversy has always been their Achilles heel. So, and then on Florida, we know who they are. This is what they do. Florida and Carolina are just carbon copies of each other, essentially. Florida's a little bigger. If you go line to line, which we'll look at here in a minute, I mean, you might give the advantage to Florida. But Carolina's been knocking on the door for a couple years now. I mean, old Rod the Bod, Brendamore's got him cooking, has had him cooking for a long time. So, but we're gonna go through these and we're gonna go through that. And we're gonna talk sports on this show because that's what we do. Who's most likely to advance? Look, we're going to do it right off the rip. If you were to ask me, I think Dallas is getting healthy. They just got Heiskanen back. And they got one of their other guys, Robertson. Was it Robertson? Yeah, I think they just got him back. Ottinger, you're going to see here in a minute that he has gotten some really good play in the high scoring chances department. So I just think the Stars are going to do this. I will be shocked, personally. I will be shocked if McDavid and Draisaitl can drag this team again back to the Cup final. They've been here, 3 out of the last 4 years or whatever? And I think this is a rematch at Dallas and Edmonton 3 years in a row or whatever. So I think this is Dallas's turn. I just think it's Dallas's turn. The law of averages say it's Dallas's turn. And I think they're getting healthy, and they've got Mikko Rantanen, who's a freight train. And then in the East, every fiber in my bone, body, bones, whatever, wants me to pick Carolina. I live in Carolina. I'm not a Carolina Hurricanes fan. I'm a New York Rangers fan, so whenever the Rangers play them, I hate their guts. But I do love seeing the state get excited for, look, the matchup here, football, my hockey, is the Dallas market and the Carolina market, 2 of the most hilarious football franchises in the NFL, meeting for the Stanley Cup, and all the football fans having to be like, well, I guess we'll watch hockey. Oh, this is what it's like to be successful in the playoffs. So that's just me. That's all. I think that would be the most hilarious matchup, would be 2 teams that have franchises that absolutely stink in football in the NFL. Well, I wouldn't say the Cowboys stink, but just hilarious playoff exits. The Panthers do stink, but Stars versus Canes is what I'm going for. I would love to see that matchup personally. So I don't know what the ratings gurus would like, but I'm sure they want Edmonton in there because of McDavid and stuff. So either one of these matchups we get, it's going to be incredible. I think it's just 2 different styles of hockey. Like, you watch the Western Conference, and then you watch the Eastern. This series between Carolina and Florida is just going to be it's going to be along the boards, and they're just going to be forechecking forever. They're just going to be forechecking in 2-1. Like it's going to be incredible. So, but anyways, so I would like to see, me personally would like to see Stars and Canes. So, I mean, here's your potential matchups. Stars Canes, Canes Oilers, Stars Panthers, Oilers Panthers. That would be a rematch. I mean, we're basically getting the NFL and the NHL are like the same trajectory right now. We're just getting rematch and rematch after, we interchange the the Eagles and 49ers in the NFC and the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC, and that's just pretty much what's happening in hockey too. These franchises have just figured it the hell out, basically. So I'm doing this because game 1 is tomorrow. Happy anniversary to me with my wife. 9 years, no big deal. May 20th, shout out the wedding. That was awesome. Great time. Thanks everybody for coming 9 years ago. Game 1 starts tomorrow. TNT, Canes, Panthers. Panthers get the first 2 games. And we'll go all the way until, I think this thing's going 6 or 7. I really do. And then Wednesday, we get game 1 of the Western Conference at Dallas. So Dallas gets to host there, obviously. So hopefully they're alternating 22, 20. Yeah. So we're going to get games every night. And then you've got the NBA playoffs if you're into that. And it's just going to be spectacular. So Tuesday, we get Eastern. Wednesday, we get Western. Shout out them. Hit the stream with AJ. Hit the stream with AJ and Noah, Millie. Wait, what do you mean? What's the stream with AJ and Noah? What do you mean with that? Enlighten me, B. McCormick. All right. Let's bring up the playoff stats. Obviously, as we're getting ready to go through. Wait a minute. What happened? I lost my screen sharing. B. McCormick, can you see that? It looks like it's on there. I just got an update, but anyways, can you see this screen of the stats? Anyways, we got Mikko Rantanen leading the playoffs, 19 points, 9 goals. So he's just on it. And then you've got Svechnikov from Carolina with 8 goals. Sam Bennett's got 6. I'm looking through here, like I was just perusing before this all started, and I'm sitting here looking at Freddie Anderson, who, the Hurricanes had to play the Devils and then the Capitals, which, I mean, it ended up being a cakewalk, but they just smoked them. So you've got Freddie Anderson and then basically the 2 best goalies in the playoffs going at it, because Comrie came in because Hellebuck was getting shelled. Stolarz went out because he got hurt. So essentially you've got the top 2 goalies, goals against average, playing off in the East, plus the style that they play. So save percentage, Ottinger 92, Anderson 93.7. Like, that's just crazy. And then obviously all these goalies have, we're not going to go through that, but Wallman for Edmonton with the highest plus minus. I mean, look at all this. All the dude. This is crazy, man. People don't understand about the Florida Panthers. This little collection of players right here, Marchand, Luosterainen, and Lundell, they're all on the same line. That third line for the Panthers is just working people. Working people. Marchand, Luosterainen, and Lundell. So that's impressive for them to have. For them to have the top plus minus on their third line, that means they're just eating people alive in the third and fourth. But that's what the Florida Panthers do. So, but anyways, and then you've got Ottinger. What I wanted to look at was obviously one of the biggest things was the power play percentage. I wanted to see who was popping off on the power play. The Stars at 30.8. Hey, Josh, that's a good pay right there, buddy. He's talking about Fred Warner, and I would agree. Y'all do resemble each other, and Fred Warner is just a man-child out there. He is one of my favorite players I've ever watched play. I love that guy. He is awesome. If Noah and AJ and you, Millie, are going to stream, we're all going to do it Mondays. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I might sometimes. This is impromptu. There weren't any games on, and I was like, you know what? Everybody's talking about this in WNBA thing. I want to talk hockey, so we're going to talk hockey on this show. Anyway, the power play. Carolina Hurricanes are at 28.1. Edmonton's at 25%, and then the Panthers are at 20.5. So they're not. I mean, they're all kind of right around there. But this was what was interesting. So you've got who's the most penalized? The Panthers out of the remaining teams are the most penalized by a mile. And why is that I mean, why? I think that's hilarious. That just means they're just beating the wheels off everybody. Just beating the wheels off everybody. So the Hurricanes really haven't been, penalized that much, but then you've got that Florida and Toronto series. They were fighting after the whistle and all that stuff, scrums all over the place. People throwing in the box all over the place. Same thing with the Jets and the Stars. And then the penalty kill. This is what was like eye-opening that tells you about, look, there is a reason why these teams, the Hurricanes, the Panthers, the Stars, the Oilers, are where they are. Not the Oilers, because their PK sucks. The Oilers' PK sucks. And how good is the Stars' PP? It's pretty good. The peeps for the Stars, pretty darn good. So, the matchup right there, ladies and gentlemen, if the Stars get to the power play, and we're going to look at penalty minutes for the Oilers again, which they're not nothing crazy, kind of middle of the road. Can the PK of the Oilers limit the power play of the Stars? Now, both the Panthers and we're not shocked that the Panthers and the Hurricanes can kill penalties because of the way they play. That's what they do. They just design it. Josh said you taught him, dude. Hey, I love that. You wish you had Fred Warner on your team, Josh. You don't have a Fred Warner. Don't give me that Micah Parsons nonsense. That dude's podcasting too much. Fred Warner actually has a podcast too. But so these are just little things that I'm looking at. I'm like, okay. So if the penalty kill for the Panthers and the Hurricanes is that crazy, like the game's like it's going to be a tightly checked 5-on-5, even if you get, these Florida, it's going to be a 5-on-5 battle. If somebody falters on the PK, that's the penalty kill. That's where you're going to be in trouble. So in the playoffs, the special teams are so huge for the NHL for these playoffs. And it's no surprise that three of the teams left, Edmonton just, they're all over the place because they have two of the greatest players of all time. Oh yeah. B. McCormick, Tennessee did get App State's QB, Joey Aguilar. Him and Aguilar and Nico, whatever, Lamalia, whatever his name was, switched spots. And two studs for who? I actually, Overshone was a freak, Josh. That guy was awesome. I hate that he kept getting hurt. Since 2004, 2005, Two Cats, love that name. The Leafs have won 2 playoff series. The Buffalo Sabres, who haven't made the playoffs in 14 years, have won 4 playoff series in that same time. Low Leafs at their best. Tell any Leafs fans to get a Father's Day card for Marshawn soon. Dude, he is 5-0, Two Cats, against the freaking Leafs in Game 7s. He absolutely wrecks them. So, anyways, that's a little overview of the special teams, that sort of thing. So, it's when you're talking about the Panthers versus the Hurricanes, the Panthers are pushing, they're trying to get to their second straight Stanley Cup final. And then the Canes are basically saying, we want revenge. I mean, these are two of the top teams in the league. The Canes took out we're gonna go straight to that series. The Canes took out the Capitals, who were the first seed, and the Panthers took out the Leafs, who were the first seed. So, it's the Panthers are trying to get to the Cup final for the third straight season, and then this is the second time they've had to go through the Canes. So, they lost to the Golden Knights 2 years ago, and then they beat the Oilers last year. And I think one of the biggest things that, when you look at all the articles and that sort of thing, I mean, Brad Marchand, basically, if you're looking for game breakers of the Panthers, during Game 7, he was everywhere. I mean, he had 1 goal, 2 assists, plus 3 rating against the Leafs. So he had in the second round, he led the Panthers in points scoring. 3 goals, 5 assists. So it's just incredible. He's 37 years old, and the guy that kind of anchors that third line, Brad Marchand, is the game breaker for the Panthers. I mean, obviously they've got Barkov, who's a 200-foot player. They've got Kachuk. They've got they've got Bennett and Reinhardt, and you could just sit there and name them. These guys are all becoming household names because they play every year into June. It's incredible. For the Canes, game breaker Svechnikov, he's got 8 playoff goals, which is only behind Mikko Rantanen, like we said earlier. He had a hat trick in Game 4. He didn't play against the Panthers 2 years ago because he had an ACL surgery. So that's a big deal getting that guy back, because every single one of those games was like a 1-goal game in overtime. So, these are just two players to look for that are kind of absolutely on fire, just gamers in the playoffs, really. But that's what we're looking for there. Goaltending, I mean, obviously Bobrovsky versus Freddie Anderson. You're talking about the matchup there. Like I said, we just went over the stats. So the two best goalies in the playoffs that are still left, Freddie Anderson, Bobrovsky. So leading the league in goals against average. So Freddie Anderson's been the best goalie. 1.36 against, 93.7 save percentage. He didn't play he missed a couple of games during the Devils series. I mean, he's a fragile, that's one of the things the Panthers are going to have to work on if they want to get to Freddie Anderson. He tends to get hurt quite often. So the Devils and the Caps really couldn't get in front of the net against the Hurricanes. They were kind of the bullies, but you're talking about the Florida Panthers here, who live in the corners and live in front of the net and just get greasy goals left and right. So he did miss those 5 games against the Devils. He also leads the league in high danger save percentage, 92.3. And he stopped 30 of 31 high danger shots during the second round. The Panthers lead the playoffs with 45 goals and second in goals against. They've scored 23 goals off of high danger shots. The Panthers have. They have 82 high danger shots on goal. The league average is 61.9. Florida's plus 16 goal differential is tied with Carolina for the best in the place. So these teams, again, you're talking about the Panthers. What they do well is get in front of the goal, in between the circles, and just pound you on the boards. But Freddie Anderson's been the best with those high chances. But again, there's not a lot of traffic. So I think that's, like we were talking about the special teams earlier, that's the key matchup for the Panthers, is can they continue to put guys in front of the net? And the Canes have given up, tied for the fewest goals. And the Hurricanes are third in shots against per game at 24, so they're not really giving up a lot of shots. They spend the most time in the zone for the playoffs at 46.6%. And we all saw what the Panthers did to the Leafs the other night. They were in the zone, had 25 shots to nothing. So it's like these two teams are literally the same team. They're literally the same team. And they spent the least amount of time in the defensive zone of the playoffs, 34.7%. The league average is 39.8. And they have 15 players who've scored at least one goal. So obviously, if the Panthers will win. Here we go. If Bobrovsky plays big, right? It's Bobrovsky. Obviously, they block shots. They if they can get in front of the net, you know what I mean. Like it's if you're, I don't know what else to say. Like they're carbon copies of each other. And the Hurricanes, if they don't change who they are, that's what everybody keeps saying about the Hurricanes. They just got to play their game, play who they are. But basically, it comes down to, can they continue to be in the offensive zone? Can they keep the Panthers out? Can they keep winning puck battles along the boards? And can they finish on their grade A chances of high opportunity scoring chances? I mean, it's going to be crazy to see this chess match. That's what the Panthers and the Hurricanes, they want to get it in, cycle the puck, and then look for those grade A chances right out in front. So we'll see. I love looking at the lineups because this is just crazy. So, you've got these lineups. I mean, having watched the Panthers now for a long time, Evan Rodriguez, Alexander Barkov, Sam Reinhart, that is a top tier line. Like Alexander Barkov took like a hometown discount, which killed, like, this is why people get so damn mad at Mitch Marner, because he wants all this money, but you've got Alexander Barkov who's going to win the Selke for like the 18th year in a row. Then you got Verhaeghe, Bennett, and Kachuk. Just another. I mean, look at this. And then Ito, Luosterainen, Lundell, and Marchand. We just looked at that and told them, it told you that they're like top 3 in plus minus this line. And then Nosek and Greer and Gadjevich. Yeah. And then on defense, they've got Forsling and Ekblad. Ekblad's a monster. Mikkola, Seth Jones, who was incredible the other night in Game 7. I didn't even mention him yet. He's a freak. And then Schmidt and Kulikov. Kulikov's physical. So that's, when you look at those lineups, I mean, especially that line 3, dude. That line 3 is crazy. The fact that they're doing that, like, that's crazy. You think everyone's overthinking what? Now, I don't know. Here you go. Two Cats' bag. He said, I know the Canes and Panthers were 10th and 11th in the league, but I still believe they were the best Eastern teams. Oh, dude, 100%. These two teams are built for the play. It's like the equivalent of being able to run the football in the playoffs, right? The Canes and the Panthers are the equivalent of teams that can run the football effectively in the playoffs. They just keep the puck. Like, I mean, we just looked at it, like the Canes lead the league in offensive zone time, and they don't spend a lot of time in their defensive zone, which is crazy. I just, can they handle the onslaught of the waves of the lines from Florida? Now, you would think that, I would think skill-wise, from a defensive perspective, this makes sense because Jakob Slavin, Brent Burns, Orlov, Nikishin, he's a rookie. Actually, I saw a pretty crazy stat too. Shane Gostisbehere, defenseman for the Canes, leads the league in offensive zone time, meaning he possesses a puck the longest in the offensive zone. That was crazy. But their defense, I keep wanting to say the Panther. This is weird too. You've got the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers, which is very odd because the Carolina Panthers, you can't say Carolina Panthers because that's their football team, and then Florida's known for having Hurricanes. What the hell? They're trying to mind mold us up in here. They're trying to mind boggle us. That was really confusing. Anyways, defense here, got to give the edge to the Hurricanes as far as actually defensive play. I think the Panthers defense can be a little more offensive, if that makes sense. But, the Hurricanes projected lines, you've got Svechnikov, Aho, Seth Jarvis, top tier line. Svechnikov having a day. Taylor Hall, Roslovich, Stankoven, gritty line there. Gritty line. Taylor Hall used to be a big skill guy. And then you're talking about, oh, dude, give me some Jordan Stahl, Martin Nook, Jordan Stahl, William Carrier, Robinson, Kotkaniemi, and then Jackson Blake. So I think can Jordan Stahl muster it up, baby? Can he muster it up? B. McCormick says under 1.5 first period. Hey, is that what it's set at? Absolutely. They're not. They might not. That might be the whole. It might be 1-0. So, can these bottom two lines? Can Jordan Stahl muster up the courage to go against this Marchand, Lindell, Listerainen? I think that's going to be a fun matchup. Line 3 for both of those are going to be fun. So, but anyways, I love looking at these high, like the NHL has the NHL Edge stats, and it's talking about Freddie Anderson, talking about how he stopped 30 of 31 high danger shots against the Caps. He was pretty good. He's got the goal differential is +15, which is the best amongst goalies for him. Offensive zone save percentage, shots off the cycle. That means when they start getting the puck going around the wheel. He led the league but in save percentage against these shot types at 96.8%. That's crazy. That means that dude sees the puck really well and anticipates. Chatfield's out. He got injured. I meant to mention that. I forgot to mention that. Chatfield is out. I'm not exactly sure what happened. It says undisclosed, so we'll never know probably. But he got hurt. That's a pretty big loss too. So they're expecting a lot from this young guy, Nikishin. And I think but Chatfield being out, that sucks. So let's we're gonna move on to the other one. Let's move to the Western Conference. I'm not gonna be on here too much longer. I just want to get on here and talk hockey. But we get the Western Conference one. We get we're gonna get the third again the third Western Conference final for the second season in a row. They're gonna play each other 2 seasons in a row. Awesome. Last season, the Edmonton won in 6. And then they lost to the Panthers. The Stars, it's their 3rd straight time going to the conference finals. Before they played the Oilers, they lost to the Knights, and that's who the Panthers lost to. So Ottinger, headline, Jason Robinson, Rupe Hintz. I mean, you got the Stars. The Stars seem to be finding their stride. They're a deep team. Obviously, Miro Heiskanen, sorry. He was out, so he just got back. He missed the final 32 regular season games and then the first 10 postseason games. So that sucked. But he played 23 minutes 40 seconds in game 6. So he kind of rounded back into shape. But that now he's, they had that Harley guy too who replaced him. So that's an interesting dynamic they're gonna have. The Avalanche could have used a guy like Mikric. You think? You think, dude? They didn't even. Did you hear what happened to him? Two Cats says the Avalanche could have used a guy like Mikko Rantanen. They should try to trade for him. They didn't even offer him, apparently, from what I've read and seen and heard. And for the Oilers, like Corey Perry, north south, get in front, be grindy. And just try to take it to the Dallas Stars, right? Can the Dallas Stars keep up with it? But yeah, and I think did Corey Perry play for the Stars? Revenge game? Is this revenge game? And Corey Perry tried with Draisaitl for their team lead in goals. He has 5, so he's grindy. He's the worm. They call him the worm. So. Goaltending, the edge obviously to Ottinger. He's got a 2.4 goals against and 92 save percentage. I'm telling you, he was incredible. He's one of those goalies where it's like Mario Kart. 2Cast says, unbelievable. That 2022 Av team was so good and still amazing, but things falling. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough. That was stupid by them. That was a core they could have had that like the Panthers do with Barkov and Kachuk and Reinhardt and Verhage, all those guys. You know, they decided not to. So Ottinger, can he he's yet to lose 2 games in a row in the playoffs. He's 5-0 the 9.29 save percentage in games following losses. So he's got it in there to be elite. And then Edmonton on their side, their goalie, they used both goalies in the first 2 rounds. Skinner, the number 1 goalie, started the first 2 games. He was ineffective. He allowed 11 goals. And then Calvert Pickard won the next 6 games. And then he got injured in game 2. So Skinner re-entered the game. And now he went 2-1 with a 1.28% or 1.2 goals against a 94 save percentage. And then he had 2 straight shutouts to close the series. So, and then now Knobloch said Pickard could come back. So I don't know. That's scary stuff. But the Stars, they're going to win if the depth. They've got a ton of depth. Their lines are crazy, absolutely insane. So they've gotten goals from 12 different players in their first 13 games. So we'll see. They need more of that against the Oilers, and but the Oilers ended up shutting down the Vegas Golden Knights top line. Like they made Jack Eichel and Hurdle and those guys look pretty pedestrian for stretches of that. So that was weird to see for the Oilers. Usually it's not like that, but they, for whatever reason, have woken up. And if the Oilers want to win, it comes down to their power play. We showed it earlier. Their power play sucks, which is so weird. Like their power play was operating at a 25%, and their PK was even worse. Like that to me is the biggest thing. I don't like their power play went 1 for 11 against the Vegas Golden Knights. And they haven't scored a power play goal on the road yet. So I don't know. You can't keep doing that. And on the opposite side, the power play for the Stars was 1 out of every 3. So they were firing at an unreal clip. But yeah. So those are kind of some of the things to look for. Let's take a look at the projected lineups. So for the Stars, you got Granlund, who had a hat trick, Rantanen, who had a hat trick. They got 2 guys they've had 3 hat tricks, centered by Rupe Hintz, and then Ben, Duchesne, and Sagan. That's like the 2015 All-Star lineup right there. Those are 3 players that have played some very meaningful hockey for a long time. Then you got Marchment, Wyatt Johnston, Jason Robinson. And then they go with the 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got 4 defenseman pairs. So what a wild looking setup there. But they got Heiskanen back. What are they going to do? Oh, there's Harley. There you go. So they're going to put them together. Cody Ceci, I think, was he not with the Oilers? And then Lindell, Petrovich, and Dadonov. So, that's some firepower right there. Golly, they're so deep. Those 3 lines are crazy right there. And then obviously Ottinger and net. And you come down here, and you got Oilers. You got Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Hyman, and then Draisaitl, Kapanen, Podkolzin. Then you got the old Evander Kane, Adam Henry. Evander Kane showing up in like Rolls Royces has been hilarious. And then Frederick, Jan Mark, and Corey Perry down there on that 4th line. And then sometimes they'll move Draisaitl up. They'll kind of shift him around. And then Kulak, Bouchard on defense, Darnell Nurse, Stetcher, and Klingberg, and then Wallman who, what is his plus minus, I think, was outrageous. I think he led the league in plus minus. So, and then Stuart Skinner in net. So, Ekholm undisclosed, Pickard undisclosed, and I mean, Lundqvist for Dallas, but that's it. So, a couple of scratches there, but some of the fun stats, the edge stats. I love looking at these. The edge stats here. Speed. Like, look at this stuff. This is crazy. High danger goals. 4. High danger shots on goals. I think this is for, the Stars. Mid-range goals, 99, like, mid-range shots on goals, total skating distance. Like, the Stars, dude, this is crazy. The Stars and the Oilers, like, all these high-danger chances, mid-range goals, like, they can score from up close. They can score from back. Like, there's so much talent on the ice for this one. I just don't know what the physical aspect's going to be. And there's Harley again, who had to fill in for Heiskanen. So they've developed an entire, number 2 or 3 or 1 defenseman just throughout the playoffs. And then this is what we were talking about, this high danger save percentage. So, but that was fun. Again, Ottinger, the most high danger shots, 98 in 13 games, leads the NHL, and 82 saves. So can they protect the front of the net for the Stars? And then these are just some fun stats for the playoffs, because I'm about to get out of here because it's late and I want to go to bed. The top skating speed from the NHL Edge stats leaders in the 2025 playoffs. Top speed goes to, who would have thought? Connor McDavid, 23.92 miles per hour. The shot speed, hardest shot, was Colin Miller from the Winnipeg Jets, 99.74. That's an absolute missile. High danger shots on goals was Matty Nyes from Toronto. He had 21 right there in front of the net. And then high danger saves was Jake Ottinger. We just talked about that. He is not allowed a single long-range goal in the postseason. Next highest total long-range saves without allowing a single playoff goal is 53 by Aiden Hill. His save percentage, greater than 910 of his last 13 starts, is the most such games in the league this postseason. So he does not let goals up far away, which is crazy. Huh? That's wild. So can the Oilers generate high danger opportunities? It's gonna be something to watch out for. This we mentioned earlier. Gostisbehere, this is a stat I was talking about, leads the NHL in offensive zone time percentage. 7 points, 5 on the power play, and they lead all. Like we already went over all that, but the Carolina, which leads the postseason in 5-on-5 shot attempts, 58%. Big advantage in that category, 61% compared to Washington, their 5-game. That's 5-on-5 is where the Hurricanes love to just grind people down. It's going to be interesting to see what the Panthers do against that. So, anyways, that's enough hockey. So I'm going with my final prediction will be Canes versus Stars. Yes. So, what would that be? Yeah. Canes versus Stars. We got to come up with some name, but I'm going with that. I think it's the Stars' time. I think the Oilers have been I don't know. I don't think they can do it with their musical goalies, with their dueling piano goalies. That's just me. Call me crazy. But yeah. So, I'm going to get out of here. We got a lot of hockey to get to. Can't wait to watch it. But I'll tell you this right now, I'm going to get out of here and go to bed. We got some if you've been tuning along this much, thank you so much. Subscribe to the show. We're going to do more live streams. We're going to react to some of the games probably this week. We're going to put out some shorts. We're going to do some posts, all that stuff. We're pretty active on our social medias, putting out clips from our shows, that sort of thing. So everybody, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's enjoy this Let's enjoy these conference finals, ladies and gentlemen. We deserve it. Stop talking about all stop talking about guys. See you later this week.